Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central. And here's your host, Bob Hickey.
Hi there. Welcome to another great episode of Foxborough Central. I am Bob Hickey, your host, and I'm so pleased that you took a little bit of time to join me and my guests as we learn about the people, events, and organizations that make Foxborough truly the gem of Norfolk County. Joining me today is my new friend, Pastor Derek White. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Bob. How are you today?
I'm doing great. And we go by Pastor Derek.
Pastor Derek, that's what most folks call me.
When I called up the church and I said I'd be very interested in meeting oh, you mean Pastor Derek? I said, well, okay, that sounds good. Yeah, well, Pastor Derek will call you Pastor. I couldn't get your last name out of it, so it's definitely Pastor Derek White.
Pastor Derek White, yes.
Great. Well, welcome to Foxborough.
Oh, wonderful. I'm delighted to be here. It's been a long time for me to get back to Massachusetts, but I'm excited to be here in Foxborough.
See, back to Massachusetts. The beauty of television is I didn't even know we were from Massachusetts, so we're going to work our way back to that during the interview. You are, for the record, the new pastor of the Bethany Congregational Church here in Foxborough.
Yes, I started, actually it's a month now. I've been here in Foxborough at Bethany, coming down from Kennebunkport, Maine. I was up there for 5 years. So.
5 years at Kennebunkport, yeah. And was that also a congregational church?
It was a congregational church, small congregational church in Kennebunkport, oldest church in town, 1730 was the established date of it. So.
Wow. So if that was the oldest church in town, then and it's Kennebunkport, there's a famous resident from up at Kennebunkport.
Yeah,
perhaps a former president?
There is a former president, a former first lady that was up there. So, and actually, they were sometimes parishioners that would visit the congregation from time to time, and wonderful, wonderful folks to be able to meet and get to know. Just great humanitarians through and through. So it was a pleasure to be able to be pastor there and to have them out in the congregation on some Sunday mornings.
Excellent. So you've had your brush with fame. And now you've come to Foxborough.
Yeah, so, well, the truth is I wanted to come down here. I'm a huge Patriots fan, and when I saw Foxborough, I said, I got to come here to Foxborough, so.
Well, you never can tell when you're going to reach out, touch one, and maybe having a football team has been a good thing for our community then.
Yeah, no, definitely.
In many different ways.
Yeah. Usually I never get to go to a football game on a Sunday afternoon because I'm always working, and I said, oh, this is great. And Bethany, when I came and I interviewed with them, they said, we don't do any meetings on Sunday afternoon. I said, I'm sold. I can finally go to a football game for once in my life.
Our community does work around the football schedule. You'll find that for our social life as well as for our commutes. We make sure that we know what that football schedule is. So excellent. And the commute won't be a long one from here to the stadium, just a mile up the road. So that's a good thing. So football fan from Massachusetts. You said you're coming back. So
yeah, so when I was little,
being the crack interviewer that I am, I picked up on that.
Yeah, originally I grew up in Hingham. In 6th grade we moved to Hanover, and in 95 I graduated from Hanover High and went out to Chicago with the hope to always come back and do ministry in New England, and took kind of a long path through Chicago to Rhode Island to Maine, and now back to Massachusetts after 15 years of being gone. So.
Well, then I will officially say welcome back.
Well, thank you.
So Massachusetts is now your landing spot, and the Bethany Church has been in Foxborough for many of the century also, so it's not just a new enterprise, but the Bethany Church has some unique offerings. And here on the cable access channels, many of the services are aired. So much credit to your congregation for volunteering and taking the time to make the tapings and to share them with the community, which is one of the cool things about cable access is that we really are we have a lot of content, and our channels have many things that are locally produced, but also are real time. So I'm really happy that you took a little bit of time to come in to join us and share, because we see the services on the air, and we see our neighbors in the congregation, and we see our friends on the TV, but we never really get a chance to do an in-depth interview. So I really want to thank you for taking the time to come in to learn about Pastor Derek, the man.
Well, I appreciate being here. This is wonderful. Actually, the first Sunday I came and I did my candidating sermon at Bethany, I got done with the service. I had preached the sermon. I thought it was great. And then they came up to me afterwards and said, oh, and by the way, we run it on the local cable access channel. And I said, oh, Okay.
Did they make you sign a release before the service?
No,
or after
they
the
did.
Service?
They fully disclosed that after I was done preaching, and I go, oh, what did I say in that sermon? I'm like, I got to be careful now. They're going to be arrogant every Sunday. So
Was it enough fire and brimstone to move people, but not enough to scare them? That's
yeah, I
always
think
the
that's
thing.
what it was. So,
Well, great. And with that, for folks who are interested, the Bethany Church has 2 services every Sunday. You call it a traditional service.
traditional service, which is at the 9:15 time,
Okay.
and then 10 years ago they had the wisdom to add a contemporary service, so that's at 10:45. Same sermon at both services, but the newer service at 10:45 has a little bit more of a contemporary feel. Was the worship band, and it's a growing service. We tried it 10 years ago, and have been watching new folks come in and just trying to offer something for a variety here in the Foxborough area.
Nice. So you're meeting 2 different sets of needs, and at the same time, it's essentially the same content.
Yeah, and trying to bridge the fellowship between the 2 services, because really Bethany, we view ourselves as a church family. So even though we have 2 services, we work really hard to make sure the fellowship happens with the folks that attend both services, so they really feel connected and part of the family of Bethany.
Now, speaking of the family of Bethany, Bethany itself it's a beautiful church, by the way, and with the recent addition that was just complete, I think 4 years ago, there's now additional classroom space and gymnasiums, but he also had that addition from the 50s for the classroom space. So there's a lot more to the church than the clock and steeple that we all see and we hear the bells. But within the building is the life of the church and many programs that are run. And I know that there's some support groups and also a huge supporter and sponsor of the Troop 7 Boy Scouts and Pac 70 Cub Scouts. So there's a lot of community work that goes on in the church as well, which is a very vibrant family, as you call it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I came home the other night and I was talking to my wife and I said, it's strange when I've left the church at 9:30 at night and the parking lot's still filled with cars in it because of the activity. So every day from about 7:30 in the morning probably until 9 o'clock at night, you'll find cars in the parking lot because of the programs that are going there. It's really a community-driven church, and that's part of our vision is to be a resource for the community and to be able to support the community with the programs and events that we have going on. The Boy Scouts, there's AA that we have that meets there. We have a preschool that's in the building for little ones that runs throughout the week. We're actually expanding the preschool program in the fall. They're going to start offering preschool for the younger children than the age group that we have right now. Was the gymnasium. We have Bethany Ball, which is a game unique to it. I'm not really sure. They've warned me about playing it. They said, we're not sure if our liability will cover you, Pastor Derek, but you're welcome to come and check it out anytime. It's a cross between lacrosse, I think, and hockey of some sort. So they play that in the gym. Boy Scouts are there. Lots of small group ministries. That's a big thing at Bethany, where we have several Bible studies in small groups, and that's one of the ways that the folks that go to both services, we can have them feel connected between the 2 services with the fellowship events that we offer in the building. So, and lots of community dinners. That's another big thing that we've been doing lately.
Well, sounds like a lot. So if people want information about these and other programs, they can log on to your website at
BethanyChurch.org. So that's
BethanyChurch.org,
yeah.
just the way it sounds. And of course, they can always call the church at 543-5678.
Yeah, they'll get either Lynn or Glenda in the office, and they're a wealth of resource and knowledge of what's happening in the building. And they update that list every week. So
When I talked to them, they got you right on the phone, and so very, very enthusiastic. So the Bethany Church is at 3 Rock Hill Street. For those of you who somehow don't know where the center of town is, that's where it is. And it is a fantastic structure, and I love the architecture. And New England, the quintessential quote-unquote New England town with the white steeple. You are the white steeple with the clock and the bell.
Yeah.
So for those who missed the fire horn, we still have the church bell. We used to have a fire horn right across the street at the old fire station. You're not going to miss that.
No, I probably
we won't even
miss
bother
that.
mentioning
So.
yes. For those of you at home, I don't miss it either. And I know that some of you may, but I don't. Anyway, Bethany Church has some really cool programs going on this year, and we wanted to talk about a couple of those, and one was the Feeding the 5,000?
Yeah, actually, so before I came, the church asked me what did I want to do for the mission for the first year that I was there at Bethany, and one of the things that I shared with them is this story of Jesus feeding the 5,000, and so over the last 3 weeks, I've been doing a series on the feeding of the 5,000, and we've issued what we've called the Bethany Challenge, which basically is for Bethany over the course of the year before December 31st, 2014, to provide 5,000 meals to the community. So we've been working on trying to figure out how we're going to be able to actually accomplish that goal and keep track of it. There's so many meals and so many volunteer hours that are done by people in Bethany with the different committees and groups that are part of it. We said we just need to create a system to be able to track it. So now we have little blue cards that are in the pews on Sunday morning and outside the church office door. And every time someone donates food, or every time someone hosts a community dinner, or if we have volunteers that go out to the food banks in the area or the soup kitchens to come back, they fill out a card of what was the event that they did, how many meals did they serve during that. It goes into a running tally. And each month, on the first Sunday of the month, we plan to put up, where we are tracking kind of in the year of reaching that goal of 5,000. And it's amazing because people in the church have already said, "Oh, Pastor Derek, we're going to meet this way before December 31st."
5,000?
5,000 meals. So it's. I thought it was an ambitious goal, but the people of Bethany said, "Oh no, we could easily do that. We'll get that done, before December 31st." So it's been really, really exciting seeing them do that. Right now, we're doing community dinners on Tuesday night for Lent. The one that we did last week, we had 85 that showed up in attendance for that, so that was 85 meals that we provided through that, and actually we're going to do it for 6 weeks throughout Lent. So if we do that, we figure we're probably getting close, somewhere between 500 and 600 meals just in the course of Lent itself. So that's been an exciting thing. Plus the community dinner we do the first Saturday of every month, which folks have kind of gotten a little confused on the community dinner. One is the Lenten series that we do on Tuesday night. The other one is the community dinner that we do on Saturday morning. But both are open to the community, and anybody that wants to come for a free meal can do that.
Really?
Yeah, and actually Tuesday night we decided that we would provide childcare for families that want to come out, because I've got 2 little ones, a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. And my wife and I, we can never go on a date without trying to find a babysitter, but we always have a hard time finding a babysitter. So when we were thinking of doing these Tuesday night dinners, we said, well, why don't we provide childcare? That way parents can come, the children can go, the older ones are going to watch a movie. We've got a nursery with trained childcare providers that will be in the nursery to take care of the little ones. Mom and dad could just have a nice dinner with other grown-ups, be able to do the small group discussion with the other adults, and their kids are right down the hall if there's any need or any emergency like that. We hope there's no emergency, but just to make it easier so families can reconnect and have a nice night out. So, and it's free to the community for anybody that wants to come out and take advantage of that. Like I said, Bethany, we're really here to serve the community, and we think that's a wonderful way to be able to do it.
That does sound like great. And so that's Tuesday nights during Lent. Yeah. And it's a show up, and you don't have to pre-register, you don't have to ask permission?
No, actually, we have asked people to RSVP only because of the fact of the meals that we're providing, just to have a better idea of how much food to be able to have on hand. So people can call the church office at that 543-5678 and just let us know that they're coming. And if they have children that are coming and want to use the child care, just to let us know the ages. We've even got a woman in the church who has just gone through the training for food allergy training. And her big thing now is making sure that we have meals that are provided at Bethany that are for folks that have gluten allergies or lactose intolerant or things like that. So even the meal itself has a gluten-free option for folks that have those types of allergies. And actually, last Sunday, the church just decided that they're going to do communion with gluten-free bread every month. So that's another big thing that we're taking, because we want everyone to be able to participate and receive communion. So we've decided to go unanimous across the board and do the loaf of bread for communion with gluten-free bread. So another way that we're trying to incorporate people into the Bethany Congregational Church.
You know what, it's interesting where changing times sort of reaches into different aspects, but then once you make the change, why not?
Yeah. So
well, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then the Saturday, and I apologize, I did not know there was a Saturday First Saturday of the month. Can you touch on that for a second?
Well, they've done it for a long time.
Keeping with the Feeding the 5,000 thing.
Keeping with the 5,000, so that's another program that we do, and I think usually about 45 or 50 show up for that, on first Saturday of the month. It's open up to the community. Again, they've been doing that for a couple of years now. There's so much programming and event that's happening at Bethany. Even though I've been there for a month, every time I come into the building, it's like there's another group there, and I'm meeting new people from the community, and it's just been amazing. Getting to know the folks of Foxborough, so much wealth of resources and knowledge in the community, and just some really, really interesting individuals. So, but that's another thing that they've been offering to the community. They've done that, I think, for 2 or 3 years now. They've done that Saturday night, first Saturday of the month, community dinner that they've offered. So.
Wow, very nice. And again, people want to go to that, check you out at 543-5678.
That's right. So.
Excellent. Well, Foxborough, I know that we're probably no different than most other communities, but we do have a strong interdenominational community. So there's a great component, a religious component to us as a community. It makes up the fabric of what we are. But let's talk about your fabric. You come to us with a wife.
I do. I have my wife and I were coming up on 10 years of marriage in September. We're planning our 10-year anniversary right now.
Her name is?
Carolyn. So Carolyn. I met her in Chicago. The funny story is that
my wife is from Chicago also.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, first time we met, I said to her, I just knew that she was the one that I was going to marry. We came back from the first date, and I kept on thinking in my head, I'm going to marry this girl. And sure enough, it was 1.5 years of us was the engagement and dating before we got married. And now we've got 2 wonderful little boys, Silas, who's 4, and Levi, who's 1. Okay. And they're just adorable little guys and very much animated. I'm sure when they get into the Foxborough school system, so I'm going to have lots of PTA meetings with them because they're both quite characters. So.
Well,
PKs are pastor kids. They usually turn out one way. Either they're saints or they're really a handful. And I have a feeling that they're going to be more of the handful type. So.
Well, I'm sure the Foxborough Public Schools are well prepared and looking forward to having the opportunity to educate your family. My kids did well in the local schools, and I'm sure yours will also.
Good.
So, the piece that we haven't touched on yet is there's another. You had talked about when you came and some ideas and the Feeding the 5,000 was you called it a mission?
A mission. So that was one of the missions that we said for this year. Our mission is to come up and create a way to be able to provide 5,000 meals to the community. And as I was sharing that with the church, I found out for a couple of years now, Bethany has a tradition which is called Mission Possible. And we have a Mission Possible Day, which is coming up on April 5th. And basically, the Outreach Mission Committee of the church has organized this for several years. And it's kind of our big rallying day where all the folks of Bethany come together. We have a number of organizations in the community that we've partnered with. And so we'll come together for a breakfast. And afterwards, we'll break up into groups and we'll go out to the food banks and to the soup kitchens and work in the community and basically provide food and service to the wider community. It's a big day. 2 weeks ago, we had our Mission Possible introduction. We actually had a gentleman that came in dressed as a secret agent, and that was part of the skit to kick off the service. And so he was talking about, what the mission was that we were going to do, which was to go out into the community and serve the community through mission work. Wow. So there's a big push for that right now in the church, and the sign-up boards are in the fellowship hall that we have there. There's a list of all the organizations that we're going to partner with. We probably, last year, I think we had about 100 or so plus folks that went out into the community to do Mission Possible Day. Very and impressive. We're hoping to top that this year. And if anybody wants to come and join us, they're more than welcome to. We'd love to have more be part of the Mission Possible Day in terms of.
So they don't have to be a member of the congregation to participate. This is a community volunteer type thing.
This is a community volunteer type thing, and we welcome anybody. Anybody from the community. Bethany is part of the community, and we love to partner with the community. And regardless if you're a member or if you're just a visitor or someone that just shows up one day at Bethany, we try to make it feel like home for everybody that walks through those doors. So.
Well, Foxborough has a very strong volunteer backbone, and so I'm sure you'll get great participation. And this is the 4th or 5th year that you've done this?
I think I'm not
that
exactly,
the church has done
The
this?
church has done. I'm not exactly sure how many years that they've done it now. I'm still
I
learning
was
the
leaving
history.
it open-ended, but
Yeah, I think
I don't think coming in you need to know the exact history of everything that's happened here.
It is.
But at a high level, this is a recurring.
Yeah, right now I'm in the process of trying to learn all the names at Bethany, and I've been working through it. So it's
Well, it's
a
a large
long
congregation.
It is. It's a large
It's a
congregation with a
robust
large list
group.
of names.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of new people have been coming recently too. So even the folks that have been coming, I've been learning their names, even though they're not in the directories or anything like that. So it's been a fun experience getting to know all the families that are at Bethany.
Well, great. I'm glad you're enjoying that aspect of it because Foxborough has, we're not insular, but we are a group, and I hope you'll enjoy us.
Yeah. It is a wonderful community. Out of all the churches that I've worked with and even working in New England in the past, to see the community that's here in Foxborough, it really, I can sense that, close, tight-knit community, which is something that I've missed when I went out to Chicago. And I love coming back to New England because I love the family connections and the small town. Well, I can't really call Foxborough a small town, but it has a small town feel to it somewhat.
That's an interesting thing because I think Foxborough is a small town, even though we have an NFL team.
Yeah.
But we have the Route 1, and then we have Foxborough proper. And, with that, there's a core group of volunteers in each of the different service organizations. And I think they all together make up a really strong backbone. Plus, in government, as you know, in any community, most of government is volunteer. The volunteer boards and committees that do the grunt work, and that, along with the faith community and the civic organizations, and then the specialized, Hugs, the Foxborough Felines, the Friends of the Library. There are just so many different organizations that people work on. Foxborough Cable Access, we are an organization of volunteers who try to bring good news and good stuff to the community and help you see us as a partner, which is what the Bethany is, a partner in what is going on in the community.
Yeah, no, and I was so excited to see the cable network station here too, and I said, wow, there's a lot happening in Foxborough that probably a lot of people don't know about, and I've just been amazed at all the organizations and all the civic groups that you've been talking about. It really, everywhere I go, I'm meeting people here in the community, and it's just been a wonderful experience to see that connectedness of folks working together to make this town really a great place. And
well, it's a fun place, and I've only been here 20 years, and I'm still trying to meet everything and figure things out. So. Best of luck with that. I'm sure you'll be really good and really welcomed, and I hope you enjoy Foxborough for all that it is.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
So my guest today has been Pastor Derek White, who is the newly installed pastor at the Bethany Church at 3 Rock Hill Street. If you'd like to learn more about the services, the programs, and all that is going on at the Bethany, including the Feeding the 5,000, which is an ongoing project for the year, and then the Mission Possible, which is coming up this April 5th. That's a Saturday?
It's a Saturday, so it'll be a good day to come out and partner up with that.
Excellent. You can get more information at their website at bethanychurch.org or by calling the office at 543
5678.
5678. Can't forget that.
Yeah.
Pastor, we are almost out of time, so I'm going to give you the last word. But of course, for those of you watching on the channel, if you miss us and want to see a replay, you can always check us back out at fcatv.org. Click on the link for Foxborough Central, and you'll see my smiling face and my guest, Pastor Derek. Pastor Derek.
Oh, I just want to say, for those in the community, I hope that you'll come by and visit Bethany and get a chance to be able to know me at Bethany Congregational Church. And if you'd ever like to go out for a cup of coffee, that's my way of being able to connect with people in the community. So please take me up on that offer. So thank you so much, Bob. I appreciate it.
Well, and hopefully when you see Pastor Derek, he'll be carrying his new coffee mug because he was a guest on Foxborough Central. On behalf of all the volunteers of Foxborough Cable Access, particularly my wonderful volunteers who come out and tape us in the mornings so that we can bring the good news to you, Betty Travers and Deb Storrs and Gary Nash, and today Lauren Batar behind the glass. I want to thank you for taking a little bit of time to sit with me as we meet Pastor Derek White and learn about the Bethany Church. Until next time, folks, have a great day.